What if I told you there's a free AI blueprint that could slash your agency's operational costs and maybe, just maybe, add an extra $100,000 to your bottom line this year? It's a big claim, I know, but most agency owners I talk to are trapped. You know the feeling. You're caught into a relentless cycle of repetitive manual work that devour your time, burn out your team, and absolutely crush out your profit margins. You're so busy working in the business, managing projects, pulling reports, onboarding clients, and chasing invoices, that you have zero time to work on the business. You can't focus on the strategy, the sales, the high-level thinking that actually grows a company. So in this video, I'm giving away the exact step-by-step framework my clients use to systematically get rid of the manual labor, automate their core operations, and reclaim their time and profit. This isn't fluff or any type of pitch. This is the exact same blueprint. First, let's be honest about what running an agency in 2026 feels like. It's a constant battle against inefficiency. So you have a team of smart, creative people, but how much time of their day is spent on non-billable, low-value work? Think about the hours spent manually creating the campaign reports, pulling data from 5 different platforms, copying and pasting information from your email into the CRM, or chasing down client assets. So each one of these little tasks and so many other tasks is actually a leak in your agency's profit. Alone, they seem insignificant, but together they create a flood of wasting time and money that's keeping your agency from scaling. Now, this is where everyone gets it wrong. When faced with this problem, most agency owners think the solution is to buy more AI tools. And the truth is, the tool doesn't matter nearly as much as the system. You don't need to be an expert in every new AI tool that comes out. You need to master one meta framework, which is workflow automation. This is about understanding how to connect your systems using the digital plumbing of internet. We're talking here about APIs, webhooks, and data transfer. So basically, focusing on the tools is a trap. It leads to what I call tech for tech's sake, where you're implementing technology without a business goal. So the actual goal here isn't to use AI. The goal is to reduce costs and increase revenue. And this blueprint is the exact repeatable process that high-performing agencies are using to unlock massive cost savings. And we're not guessing here. This is a disciplined strategic approach to automation. So this is exactly the 6-step blueprint to your first 100K in savings. So first thing first is you have to define measurable outcomes. You have to stop guessing and start measuring. You can't prove a return on investment if you don't know what you're investing against. Okay? So before you touch a single tool or a single piece of technology, you must define what success looks like in hard numbers. This means creating a specific quantifiable goals. So it's not we want to be more efficient. It is we need to save 15 hours of manual work per week for each account manager. It's not we want to improve our ad performance. It is we need to reduce our time spent on manual ad campaign reporting by 40%. So you need to create an actual baseline. How many hours does it actually takes to onboard a new client right now? Or how much does that cost in your team's hourly rate? And remember this always, without a clear before picture, you can never appreciate that after. And this one step separates the agencies that actually get real outcomes from the other agencies that feel just a little bit faster. So now that you have a goal, it's time to map the path that you're currently on. So this is where you document how the work actually gets done, not how it's supposed to get done. The workflow in your head is often a fantasy. The real workflow is actually messy, full of extra clicks, corrections, and manual workarounds. So use a simple spreadsheet or a visual tool like the one I'm using now, which is Miro. I will leave the link in the description, to document every single step. Let's say, for example, onboarding a new client. When the salesperson closes a deal, they email the account manager to the client's info. The AM manually creates a new folder in Google Drive. They dig through their inbox for the signed contract and save it. Then they open Asana and manually create a new project. They copy and paste the client contact infos. Then they open QuickBooks and create a new client record. Then they have to create the first invoice and email it off. After that, and finally, they create a private Slack channel and invite everyone. So you see all of those manual steps. Each one is actually a point of friction, a chance for a human error, and a drain on your resources. So I want you to be brutally honest here. Shadow your employees, watch their shoulders, and you will be shocked of the amount of the invisible work that happens every single day. And when you notice all of these things, this will be your gold mine for automation. So once you've mapped a messy real-world workflow, the next step is to break it down into small parts. So a big process like onboarding a new client is too vague for an AI, but an atomic task like extract an email address from a PDF contract or create a new row in Google Sheet is perfect. AI agents are great at performing specific, repeatable actions. So you have to deconstruct your processes. So looking back to our previous example of onboarding a new client, atomic tasks will be like this. For the trigger, when a deal is marked closed won in your CRM, the first task will be create a new folder in Google Drive and named it after the client. Then find a signed contract in the CRM record. Save that contract in a new Google Drive folder. Then create a new project in Asana from our template. After that, pull the client's name and email from the CRM, populate the new project with that info, then create a new customer in QuickBooks. After that, generate the first invoice from a template, then email the invoice to the client's main contact, and finally create a new private Slack channel. So by breaking it down, you've created a simple logical to-do list that you can hand over to an automation platform. And here is the biggest mindset shift: seeing your business not as a set of complex projects, but as a collection of thousands of tiny automatable tasks. By the way, if you're already sparking some ideas, I bet that you're going to want to get the full resource pack that I've put together. It has a workflow mapping template and top 10 quick wins automations that you can set up this week. It's completely free and I will tell you how to get it at the end of this video. Okay, so now you have a list of atomic tasks. Now you need to figure out which ones are actually a good candidates for automations. Not every task is a perfect candidate, but you need to use a simple checklist for each one. So in order to know these tasks, you need to ask yourself, is this task rule-based and repeatable, like copying data? And does this task move data between apps that have APIs? And this is an important thing, that your apps should have APIs in order to connect with each other and make a system with them. Like from your CRM to your email tool. Can a large language model handle the creative or the analytic part, like drafting a welcome email or summarizing some notes? And can an AI agent handle the routing and the decision making, like assigning the client to the right person? So the whole point here is you're looking for high opportunities tasks that are super time consuming, prone to errors, and create bottlenecks. So it should be at least two of these three. So manual campaign reporting is the perfect example for this. It's repetitive, involves multiple data resources, and take hours for a skilled person that could invest that time on strategy or high value work. And automating this process can save a ton of time. For this, you will need a central automation platform. For most agencies, Great starting points are tools like N8N, which is a open source and offers more power and flexibility, especially if you want to self-host to control costs or have developers on hand. The second platform is make.com. It's generally more user-friendly with its visual interface, which is great for non-technical teams. The key here is both of these platforms are built to connect thousands of apps and orchestrate these tasks seamlessly. Now that you have a list of automatable tasks, what I need you to do is to prioritize for maximum impact, or what I call the quick wins. So the temptation here is to automate everything at once, and don't, because this is a huge mistake. The key to building momentum and getting your team on board is to start with the quick wins. These are automations that deliver the highest impact with the lowest effort. Think of a 2x2 matrix. A plot has time and cost savings, and the other plot has implementation efforts. You want the tasks that suit a high savings, low effort quadrant. So what are some classic agency quick wins? You have the automated client reporting. So you connect your ad platforms and analytics tools like Looker Studio and create a template that let the data refresh automatically. Depending on your current process, this alone can save anywhere from 6 to 10 hours per client for each month. Lead routing and qualification. So when a new lead fills out your website form, use an automation to enrich their data, score them, and assign them to the right salesperson with a Slack notification. And for the last quick win, we have the automated onboarding welcome sequence. So triggered by your CRM, this workflow can create the client folder and send the welcome email with a link to book a kickoff call, and create the project in your PM tool, which is project manager tool. Okay. So this guarantees every new client gets the same professional experience without doing the customized work. So by tackling this first, you will immediately free up a ton of time and prove the value of the automations. So this builds excitement and get you ready to build more complex systems. So don't try to boil the ocean. Start with one painful process and solve it completely. Okay? So now you did all of the 5 steps successfully and you built your first automation. I need you to calculate the real ROI, and I will give you the formula in order to do it. So this is what makes the 100 savings a real possibility and not just a marketing slogan. These final steps bring us the full circle of this. After you've launched your first few automations, you must go back to the metrics you defined in step 1 and calculate your ROI. So here are a few ways to think about the savings. First, we have the labor cost savings, and this is the easy one. And the formula is very simple. You have the hours saved per week times the employee hourly cost times 52 weeks. If you save an employee who costs you $40 per hour, just 5 hours per week, and that's $200 per week, and that's $10,400 a year from one automation for one person. So imagine if you have a department of 20 people. So the ROI here will be huge. The second one is the increased capacity, and this is the big one. This is the most powerful metric. When you save your team time, you increase their capacity to do more billable work. If your automations save your 5-person team 35% of their time on manual tasks, you haven't just cut costs. You've created the capacity of nearly 2 new employees without increasing your payroll. So you can take on more clients and guarantee more revenue with the same team. So after all of this, I know that you're going to ask me, where does the 100,000 figure comes from? Say you have an agency with 5 full-time employees and their average fully loaded costs is 60,000 per year. Okay, so your total labor cost is 300,000 per year. So some case studies show that through AI automation strategy can potentially reduce your labor costs on operations by 20 to 40%. If you achieve just 35% reduction in the time spent on automatable tasks for that team, that translates to potential savings of $105,000 from your bottom line. And that's before you even factor into a new revenue you can generate with all that freed up capacity. So the number here isn't hype, it's a real possibility based on your real world efficiency gains. So what is the revenue impact? Revenue impact actually measures the financial gain. Okay, so for example, if you automate appointment reminders and reduce no-shows, you can calculate the value of the appointments you recovered. A few of those per month can add up to thousands. So what we've just walked through isn't a collection of tips, it's actually a new way on how to operate an agency or a professional service firm. It's about moving from a model of manual work and brute force to an operating system built on intelligence and automations. So the agencies that win in the next few years will be the ones who adopt this mindset, while others get left behind. Buried in the manual work. So this is your path to adding $100,000 or more into your bottom line. It's how you free yourself and your team from the daily grind and focus on the actual high-value work, creativity, strategy, and client relationships. So to help you start right away, I've put together a free AI agency blueprint kit. It includes a workflow mapping template, a checklist of top 20 agency tasks to automate, and a guide for choosing the right automation platform. The link is in the description below. Go download it, it's totally free. So thank you for watching this video. What I want from you to do now is to start with your first quick win this week. And don't forget to subscribe for deep dives into building a smart agency and professional service firm.